This is the HONOR X8a. This phone costs 899 dirhams here in the UAE, so it falls under the budget phones category. In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know about this phone to help you make a thoughtful purchase decision. So without further ado, let's jump in. Let's start with the unboxing. The package comes with everything you might need to get started. First, you get the phone itself. And by the way, this is a review unit sent over to me by HONOR, but this is not a paid review by any means, and I'm going to share my honest opinion. Next, we have another box that includes the SIM eject tool and a transparent case as expected from HONOR to get you started. Under this, we have the 22.5 watts supercharger with a USB Type-A port. The power cable is a USB-A to USB-C. You also get a USB-C to 3.5mm adapter to be able to use normal 3.5mm wired headphones, but unfortunately it doesn't come with one. But the good news is when you pre-order this phone, you get the HONOR CHOICE Earbuds X for free, which is a great compensation. And that's pretty much everything we have in the box. Now let's talk about the design of the X8a. Starting with the front, we have a 6.7-inch display with a hole punch cutout. All the bezels are very thin except for the bottom chin. I wish it had the same thickness, but it doesn't impact the experience that much. You get 93.6% screen to body ratio, which is a very high number for this price range, and the display this time is flat. So if you like flat displays, you will definitely like this new design. The back of the phone is made of plastic and you can feel this, but it has a matte finish so it doesn't collect any fingerprints, same as the metal rail. And the only glossy part of the phone is the camera pump, and you can see some fingerprints over here, but most of the phone is in matte finish, and this is something I do like. The phone has a 7.48mm thickness, 179 grams of weight, and curved edges, and all three makes it very comfortable to hold for a long period of time. Moving to the buttons, the X8a has a side-mounted fingerprint. Some people like it, some people hate it, but I personally got used to the under-display fingerprint, so it's gonna take me some time to get used to it. But after using the phone for a couple of times, I don't have any problems with the side-mounted fingerprint. The buttons themselves are very solid and tactile. There is no wobbling or anything like that, so they have high quality. The metal rail has the same color as the back, and that makes the phone looks better. Also, the phone is very solid. When I try to bend it, it doesn't flex and it doesn't show any quality issues in this part. When it comes to the cutouts, on the top we have a microphone, another sensor that looks like an infrared sensor, but it's actually not an infrared sensor. Here on the side we have a SIM tray, and at the bottom we have another microphone, a USB Type-C port, the bottom firing speaker, and here we have the buttons. So overall, the design of the X8a is great for the price range. I do like the slim bezels, I like the matte finish, and also the metal rail, how solid it feels in hand. So I think it wins in the design department. Now let's talk about the display. It's a 6.7-inch IPS LCD panel with a resolution of 2388 by 1080, and that gives you 391 pixels per inch. From my experience, the colors are vibrant and accurate, and everything looks sharp. Also, you get 93.6% screen to body ratio, and that gives you a great visual experience thanks to the very thin bezels. And it has a 90 Hz refresh rate, which is not far behind the 120 Hz, so you will get smooth scrolling. So far, everything is good enough, but there are a couple of drawbacks in the display. First, the viewing angles, as the display becomes noticeably dimmer when you look at it from an angle. Secondly, the display is barely readable under direct sunlight, as shown now on the screen. So these are the pros and cons of the X8a display, and you are the judge what are the most important things to you. Next, the battery. The X8a comes with a 4500 mAh battery, and from my usage it did last me for a full day with about 15 to 20% battery remaining by the end of the day. So if you charge your phone every day at night, this phone will be good enough for you. And it comes with a 22.5 watts charger in the box, and as advertised, that should give you from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes. But in my testing, I managed to get 44% in 30 minutes, which is not far behind. So overall, the battery performance of the X8a is good. Next, the performance. The X8a is powered by the MediaTek Helio G88 processor and 8GB of RAM, which is the average. In my experience, the phone lags a bit every now and then, especially while scrolling. The app's launching speed takes a couple of seconds more when compared to mid and high-end phones, but you still can do the normal tasks like social media consumption, navigation, and video calling just fine. The Geekbench scores falls under the low range category as you would expect from this price point, and of course playing heavy games like Asphalt 9 is not a good idea as the graphics are low in quality and it lags a lot. But light games like Temple Run is okay. The RAM management was quite good as it managed to keep 10 apps and 2 games in memory without a refresh thanks to the 8 gigs of RAM. So overall the X8a is a budget phone that's only meant for basic tasks but nothing else. Now let's talk about the camera. You get 3 lenses on the back, a 100 megapixel f1.9 main camera, a 5 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide, and a 2 megapixel f2.4 macro, and on the front we have a 16 megapixel f2.5 lens. Starting with the day photos coming out of the main sensor, they have a good level of detail thanks to the 100 megapixel shooter, and the colors are good too, as they look natural and well balanced like the examples you see now on the screen. The ultra-wide produces good looking photos as well, but it's only 5 megapixels, so there is a big gap in the level of detail when compared to the main camera. When it comes to the selfie, the camera can also produce decent photos in the morning. Moving to the videos, it can only record 1080p 30 frames per second using all lenses, so there is no 4K recording, and the stabilization is not great either. The only advantage you get in videos is the ability to record using multiple lenses like the wide and the ultra wide, or the front and back cameras at the same time. Next we have some macro shots, and they are not great either as the resolution of the lens is only 2 megapixels and even in good light the quality is really low. When it comes to night photos, unfortunately all lenses produce unusable images, so here are samples from the main, front and the ultra wide lenses. And of course the videos are no exception. So overall, taking normal photos in the morning using the main and the front lenses is the only good thing about this camera. So definitely the camera is not one of the strengths of the X8a, and this will take us to the other weaknesses you will experience with this phone. And the first one is the sound quality. It doesn't have stereo speakers, so it only relies on the main one at the bottom, and from my testing it's not loud enough and it sounds tinny. The second thing is the haptics. This phone has no haptic engine but just a normal vibration motor that buzzes the same way all the time without any precision. And lastly, there is no IP rating. So that was my review for the HONOR X8a. And of course, a phone at this price range will not give you an exceptional performance in any of the areas, but you should expect average or below average results in most cases, which is the same thing here. The only 2 things that exceeded my expectations are the design, as it looks and feels nice in hand, and the 90 Hz refresh rate, which is a great middle ground between the 120 and 60 Hz. But other than this, don't expect much from this phone. But I would like to know what's your opinion. Would you go for the X8a, or you think there are better options out there with the same price tag? And for now, thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video.